Hello everyone and welcome back to Coding with Lying. It's been a bit of a while, and I should clarify that as I'm doing this, Forge is still a complete no-go for me. I was working on something that would fix it immediately prior to losing my internet until July. At the time I was told that actually I was told it was going to be August that I get the internet back, so yay. And I can't really download and work on stuff in the university lab because that would involve installing software on a university computer, and that's a touchy subject to say the least. But here we have one of the test worlds I have inside of my MCP installation. This is 1.6. I'm hoping to get things on 1.7 because they keep telling me to anyways, but right now it's 1.6. And the stuff I'm working on is more or less specifically stuff that is relatively easy to port over to Forge when I get it working and such, so that's good. So you've already probably heard, yeah, and maybe even spotted one of the changes. So what I've mostly been working on is the entities, the mobs. I haven't touched the items other than modeling and whatnot, and I have been working on the back code, like the stuff that runs the decay process, but I can't go any further than that without touching some very, very core elements of Minecraft that I really want to have forged what I'm doing so that I know it's compatible. But behind door number 1, we have 3 future cats. So these are what the ocelots evolve into if you travel to the distant future. And evidently I kind of need to tweak their shadows, but they're a bit larger than their modern counterparts, and I can't really drag them, and these guys are not registered to me because my player ID changes every time I boot this thing up. But there are 3 breeds, as you can see, just as in the modern days. They have a slightly different face. They actually have a jaw there, which I may animate at some point. They have much different shaped hind legs. I can probably show you those briefly before he flees from me. Yep. Here. So you can see he's got the sort of classical dog leg, kind of digitigrade back legs there, as actual cats do. The reasoning being that these guys are actually, they're less tame, and they've adapted more to high-speed chases and hunting and such. And they are tameable. There is actually a huge intention for them to be tameable later on, I'll describe in a moment. But these guys currently have basically the same AI as your standard cats. They don't do anything particularly special, they're just another kind of cat. But they are their own mob. They're not an extension of Entity Ocelot or anything. And the different varieties of them actually have different rarities. So the black cat is the most often seen one. It's sort of a panther style. The tiger one is more or less the same skin as you'll find on its tabby cat modern cousin. He's the second most common, and the absolute rarest is this albino one, which is completely new skin because we don't have calicos anymore apparently. And you'll find that he's about a 1 in a 5 or 1 in 6% chance, I believe it is, to get him when you're taming these entity ocelots, these future ocelots, I should say. And I also evidently need to sort your ears because those are backwards. Yeah, some bugs may show up. But they work basically the exact same way as normal. Same goes for the future wolf, who also has his dog legs. He also has shanks down, little mutton chops there, and he also has a jaw. His skin is based a lot more on the wild wolf texture, but there's a few differences. But fundamentally, he's the same kind of texture. And he is the same kind of way as well. If I give him bones, he'll tame his... Whoop, that is interesting. I evidently need to sort that out. His texture doesn't change much either when he's sitting. I suppose I didn't see that because I was redoing this texture whilst he was sitting. Evidently I need to do something to fix that. That is interesting. Well, anyway, so yeah, these guys haven't changed much at all, but they are both tameable. And specifically, I have the work that I've been doing this exact day. This video is going quite a long while after this, like the close of about 2 weeks. The work I've been doing today is based entirely around Entity Future Mob, which is what currently the Witch, the Villager, the Morlock, And the spider and the slime, I think that's the extent of them, all extend from. So it's a way for me to add specific qualities to all of the mobs in the distant future of Nature Claims 2. So, the first one that I guess I should show off is the spider, who is not turning up. I could tab out and find out why, but that's probably to do with its gender, if I had to take a wild guess. But I've been tinkering around with Future Entity Mob as well, so, well, Entity Future Mob as well, so there may be some issues there. And that is because I'm unpeaceful. Okay, the Morlock. Now, the Morlock is an underground mob. He doesn't replace the zombie, although he sounds like it. I do have sounds picked out for this guy. And he is inspired by... it's not Jules Verne, I know that much. H.G. Wells, there we are. H.G. Wells is the time machine. The time traveler travels to the distant future, where mankind has parted into two species, and one of them is the Morlock. So he instinctively tries to hide from the light. So you see now he's fine, he's not running anywhere, no issues. But if I put a torch down next to him, he is going to go a bit crazy. So he's going to wake up and he's going to try and move away from the light source. I used to have it just that he got really slow with the light, but now he actively tries to escape it. So you will find him generally underground. That's where he spawns. That's where his glowy eyes will be the most apparent. And he hunts all humanoid mobs. So skeletons, he hunts villagers, he hunts witches, and zombies. And he hunts them because he's a cannibal. He eats people. And my idea with him is all of the future mobs have their own inventory. That's another feature I added recently. So as he devours people, he is going to have parts of them left over. He's going to have an arm or a leg or whatever, and if you kill him, his inventory drops and you can get people's arms back and stuff, so that's really cool. They do occasionally spawn with tools and items, so that guy's got a bone, and that guy's got another bone. This is getting very loud quickly. That guy has a pickaxe. I think others have like shovels and swords as well. Let me switch this to peaceful so these guys vanish quick. Okay. So they are meant to be your first introduction to new mobs inside the future, because what's happened in the distant future is that you are approximately 800,000 years past the present date. So generally speaking, everything you've built has decayed into rubble, except for like the most well-defended from time structure will be gone. And the mobs have evolved in your absence. They have evolved specifically in all player kinds' absence, actually. So, the next on our list then is perhaps the Future Slime. Now he's got a completely new model. He's completely animated at the moment. He will look at me, ostensibly, if I stand near him. He should. I know he has that trait. But apparently not. He is non-hostile by nature. He is the only... This is crucially the only size of slime in the distant future. What's happened is that the slimes have had to adapt to face the new monsters of the future. They've had to develop along with them to develop their own strategies for survival. So the big slime is gone. The medium slime is gone. All the energy that would otherwise go into those forms is now holding this one together. And you can actually tell this guy's actually made of about 3 pieces. It has some little pustules on the side, which is nice. Some nodules. But he's still fundamentally the same guy. So he's got all the energy of the big slime in a small slime body. And that is so that he can go very long distance. And the reason that he's going long distance is so that he can find a skeleton. He'll actually attack chickens as well to regain health and such, but skeletons are his main prey. And as you see, he combined to form this zombie. This is a temporary thing. He's not going to actually form a zombie when this happens, but he attacks the slime instinctively, joins with it, and creates a new mob, which I have not as yet installed. But the reason that he forms with the skeleton is so that he can attract Morlocks, because this new entity will also be hunted by the Morlocks. Except the Morlocks aren't looking to find skeletons or this new entity. So the slime had, like, they attack skeletons because they think that they're food because they look like it, but the slime has evolved to hunt Morlocks by hunting skeletons. And now let me get to our tameable pets. Why have I made these guys tameable? Why do we still have these guys being tameable? They're wild, aren't they? Surely. Well, the slime looks a lot different. The Morlock is very different. The undead, of course, haven't evolved very much at all. So why do these guys still largely resemble their modern, very heavily domesticated counterparts? That is because of these guys. So, the villagers, firstly, have names. All have unique names. So there's like a list of presently 30, I'm probably going to be expanding that, name elements, and they are randomly selected from when you spawn them with an egg, but they can actually carry over between breeding. The villagers and the witches have become more mobile in the future. The villagers have gotten more mobile because there's no longer any players to defend them. Their iron golems only lasted so long, and they only could help with so much. So they have had to adapt to life on the roads. You can see he's got a backpack back there. And these guys are going to be able to tame wolves. They'll be able to have wolf pets. Specifically, the one. I've only added it for one, because as entertaining as having a large wolf pack following a single villager would be, we'll stick with just the one. And he has his own ideas as well, so he will fight pigs to get pork chops to feed himself and his wolf. He will also attack skeletons to get bones and such. But by and large, he is just sort of roaming the area, looking for food and that like. The witch is different. She is actively hunting something. She is hunting the spiders. Because the spiders of the future, which I did not have the opportunity there to show you because of some error that I'm not looking at right now, have a more advanced venom. Currently, the classical giant spiders have no venom at all, and the cave spiders just give you poison. Venoms in the real world work quite differently. Generally speaking, a given species of spider actually has several venoms for specific creatures. There's a few of them that, for reasons beyond my comprehension, have venoms for things they don't even hunt. I think the most painful spider to actually get stung by doesn't even go anywhere near humans, like it runs 90% of the time. The spider of the future will poison you, will give you nausea, and if you're at low enough health, it will blind you and paralyze you. So when it dies, bear in mind this is a giant spider, these are full-scale spiders, it drops potion ingredients, which an enterprising witch, like Glinda or Gilda or whatever here, might want to carry around. So, the witches have gotten as mobile as the villagers. They've more or less abandoned their swampy huts, and they've gone out to try and kill these spiders. But the spiders are dangerous, and they don't really intend to go in the same places. So, how do the witches find the spiders? They tame cats. The reason that the black panther-like cat is the most common breed is because they are usually found domesticated by witches. So the witch also has an inventory, and will find water, and will fish there to get some supplies to feed herself, which is the villager looks for pork chops, to tame a cat, who will then hunt down spiders that she can kill to get potion ingredients. And again, these will drop when you kill her. If you kill her, because again, the cats are also going to probably hurt you as well for this. So, that is more or less the ending of this list. There is one other feature, and since it's daytime, I'll show you one other feature, which the Morlock isn't burning, but the Morlock is trying to target that witch. Whoop. And as he loses health, actually, thank you, Witchy, we're going to see a distinct change in his behaviour. So actually, this will probably be a bit easier to see if I turn this off. So, he is attempting to flee from me, even though he could walk right over there and I'm not attacking him. The reason that he is moving away from me is that he has another new task that I have to do. He's got one task for fleeing the sunlight, and he's got another just for fleeing things that could be hurting him. The other task is called Entity AI Flee by Health, Oop, you are the wrong kind of villager. You are a villager from the past. Right. I need this villager. Okay. So if I herd Eden here for long enough, he's going to run from me. This is a sort of new, generic task that entities can use to recognize that they are low on health, that they are going to die soon if they're not careful. And it checks for all of the entities nearby to see if any of them are set to attack him, or if they're a player, because players function a bit differently. And if they are, then he'll try and run from me. So I get close enough, and off he goes. And actually run up to fairly decent speed. So bye, Eden. This is sort of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a lot of fairly generic little traits here. Ooh, looks like Gilda managed to slow herself. So that I can basically tool exactly how I want these mobs to function. Because the idea with the future mobs is that they act like their own ecosystem. There's a sort of idea that amounts to, you are not required, and you haven't been for a very long time. So, the witches tame the cats to hunt the spiders. The spiders are ambush predators. They nest in a single location and they wait for things to come to them, so then they can kill them. Like a Morlock just happening by. The villagers get their wolves to keep them safe while they're out and about, because they have to stay on the move. And everything else just sort of gets its own way. I have ideas for mushrooms to have their own behaviors, I have ideas for sheep and cows and all sorts to have their own behaviors, even silverfish, actually. And I have a whole ecosystem planned out. I know what targets what and to what extent in what fashion. I know how the food tree goes, as it were. So there's actually a few things that rely on insectile mobs like spiders and silverfish and such, and termites, who are a new mob, who are usually only spawned when you're breaking decay, when you break infested wood, but we'll see. But that is what I've gotten working so far. Evidently not fully working, because I need to tweak that spider, see what's going on with him. So you'll see him next time properly. And I hope you're enjoying this quick look at the development of Nature Reclaims 2, the much-loved procedural decay mod that loves to tear your buildings apart. Catch you next time. Okay, so quick little bit of footage, because I just hunted down what the bug was with the spiders. Turns out that I had a value for their data watchers set to the same thing that Future Mob recently started using as well, with regards to the taming, and they were using it for their gender. So I have the egg here, and we are set to at least easy. There's a side effect of Future Mob right now that it stops things, it despawns things when they're when I'm in peaceful. So this is an adult, a female future spider. You see they've got their spinnerets at the back there. They've got mandibles now, and they've also got little sticky, slightly sticky out eyes, although they're in the same position as the textures previously were. And they notably have the cave spider look to them. Now if I spawn a few of these, you see, there we go, we have a male spider. These guys are gender dimorphic. And he's largely the same, except he's smaller and he uses the original spider skin. And you can see that these guys are laying web behind them as well. So we can get rid of that, and they'll keep bringing it. And that is to entangle mobs. These guys are predominantly nesting creatures. So the idea is that they will stick around an area for a while, they'll gradually fill it full of webs, causing any creatures to wander by to get stuck in it. But of course these guys can move through it absolutely no problem, so they just get full speed, off they go, kill people. They of course have their different poisons, so just clear some of these guys out, because there's a few too many. Let's see, their drops haven't been changed yet, because it's going to be based on their inventory. Which for the spiders will probably be self-regenerating with certain potion ingredients, so if they use their venom too often in a quick time span, their venom will run out. And you want if you're trying to get the ingredients from them, then you want to kill them quickly before they can actually bite someone. So we've got the two guys here, and they work basically the same way at the moment. And if I select myself into what is probably suicide. Okay, so I am now poisoned. My screen has gone wibbly for a little bit. And if they manage to get me even lower, then they will eventually instead inflict upon me... Whoop, now I'm actually going to die if they hit me. They'll instead blind me, and they'll give me a huge burst of slowness to paralyze me, so they can have their way with me and cause me some trouble. You can see they are leaving their web behind. I might reduce that to whether or not they've actually been moving recently. But they're as I say, they're gender dimorphic. So one of these, any random pair of these alone, cannot actually breed. But these guys will breed. They will create a lot of little spiders. Little future spiders. So the males may be a lot more nomadic. They may lay webs a bit less. They may have stronger venom, but they'll be less nest kind of driven. And the females will be the ones that stay largely still in a nice enclosed area full of webbing for people to happen upon. So if you see a spider out in the wild in the distant future, it's probably a male, and the males do occur less commonly. The gender is set randomly, so I can place a bunch of these and we'll see a random arrangement of genders here. It's not regular, but it's about a 1 in 3 chance, I believe, or maybe a 1 in 4 even, for getting a male spider, and the rest is female, as is more or less the gender balances in the real world. And they'll need to be of specific genders in order to breed. Otherwise, you will not be able to breed them. Now, this does mean that if you're having a mod pack, and since I'm planning to get this working with the Forge, it's entirely possible that you can have a mod pack with this installed, and you get to the distant future, maybe you safari net a male and a female, bring them back and give them sufficient food supplies, they will breed, and you'll be able to farm them. So, that is a consideration to have, so you'll then have a readily available source of different potion ingredients. The witches aren't going to have much on them unless they've killed these spiders, so keep that in mind. But yeah, these guys are nasty mofos, and I can even set the time to night so that you can see that their eyes still glow in the dark. All 6 or 8 of them, I think. Just the same way that the Endermen and the Morlocks do. So, yeah. Hate these guys. Anyways, that's all. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or favorite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now. Catch you later.